You wake up and you already feel like shit. Nothing has happened. Nobody has died. Nobody has left. Your life, on paper, looks fine. But something inside you, something you cannot point to or name or explain to anyone without sounding ungrateful. You feel dead inside. You lie on the bed longer than you should. You pick up your phone not because anything is interesting, but because the inside of your own head is a place you don't want to be right now. You think about all the things you were supposed to do today and feel nothing. You feel like a stone is sitting on your chest. You even go to work, but your mind is not there, and you keep staring into the empty space like a zombie. You may eat too much food, or sometimes eat nothing at all. Most times, you sit in a room full of people and feel completely, utterly alone. And the worst part is that you cannot explain the feeling, because nothing seems to be wrong with you or your life. And yet everything feels completely wrong, as if something terrible is about to happen to you. If that sounds familiar, then what you just heard is the most honest description of depression. Now, what you may not know is that depression is not a new thing. It is not modern ailment. It is not the result of social media, or stress, or the quick pace of contemporary life. That feeling is as old as the human brain itself. And to prove it, we need to go back in time. Much further back than you'd think. 4,000 years ago, a Babylonian scribe pressed a reed into wet clay and described a man who had lost all will to live. He could not eat. He could not work. He felt nothing, not grief, not anger, not joy, just a blank absence. The scribe described it as being seized by a ghost. He was the first person in recorded history to write down what you just felt this morning. The ancient Egyptians went further. In the Ebers Papyrus, a medical document dating to 1550 BC, physicians described depression as a sickness of the heart. They prescribed human company. They were treating depression as a medical condition 3,500 years before modern psychiatry existed. Then came Hippocrates, 400 BC. He named it melancholia, from the Greek for black bile, because they believed dark fluid in the body caused dark feelings in the mind. The biology was wrong, but the instinct was exactly right. Hippocrates argued that depression lived in the body, that it was not moral failure, a weakness or punishment from the gods. It was physical, real, and it required treatment, not shame. It took the rest of the world roughly 2,000 years to agree with him. In the ancient world, that signal had a purpose: grief, loss, injury, isolation. The brain's response was to slow everything down, pull inward, protect. The problem is, the brain cannot always distinguish between genuine danger and the low-grade, structureless weight of modern life. To explain this better, let's introduce our favorite caveman, Godric. Today, Godric wakes up feeling like shit. He is tired, but not physically tired. He does not feel like going anywhere, and that is not unusual. Godric rarely gets out of his cave with any particular urgency, but today is different. Today, even Godric can feel the difference, and Godric is not a man known for his emotional self-awareness. He lies there. The village stirs outside, the sounds of people who have somewhere to be and something to do. Godric has nowhere to be. He usually finds this deeply satisfying because he likes to be left alone. But today it feels like he is in a hole. He gets up eventually because lying down is not helping. He forces himself to go outside to sit under his favorite tree and looks into the empty space. Here is where he always comes when he wants to think or run away from responsibilities. Today, everything feels completely different and not in a good way. Nobody notices at first. Godric sitting quietly is not news. Godric contributing nothing to the functioning of society is so normal it has become a kind of village landmark. But then a day passes, then two. He doesn't eat much. He doesn't argue. He doesn't perform his usual theatrical displays of deep thought. He just sits, quiet. Somewhere behind his eyes the lights have dimmed. He is sad, empty, and dejected, and he has no idea why. It takes a whole 3 days before one village elder notices that Godric is not his usual melancholic self. She is not a doctor. There are no doctors in their world at this time, but she has lived long enough to know that something is wrong with Godric. Being the oldest person in the village means that she has outlived most of her assumptions about how life works and replaced them with observation. She does not ask Godric what is wrong. Instead, she brings him something to eat in a small bowl. She tells him to sit in the sun. He tells her the sun is too bright. She tells him to move his body. He tells her his body is fine. She tells him to come and sit with the others at the evening fire. She comes back the next morning, and the morning after that, each time with the drink. Each time with the same quiet instructions he mostly ignores. She does not push. She does not tell him to feel better. She does not tell him that other people have it worse. She does not suggest that he should be grateful for what he has. She just keeps coming back. On the 5th morning, she sits down beside him and says nothing at all. She doesn't look at him. She looks at the same stretch of open land he has been staring at for days. She sits with him inside his silence, not trying to fix it, not trying to fill it, just present. They sit there for a long time, something in Godric, some tight knotted thing he didn't even know was clenched. The elder stands up eventually, brushes the dust from her hands. "Tomorrow," she says. "You eat." Godric says nothing. He eats something the next morning, and the weight on his shoulders seems to start falling off eventually. 280 million people are living with depression right now, and most of them, at some point, have sat exactly where Godric sat, feeling something they cannot name, resisting help they know they need, waiting for something to shift without knowing what that something is. The oldest recorded description of depression is 4,000 years old. The newest research on how to treat it points again and again to the same 3 things. Move your body. Get into sunlight. Let people in, not because they're easy. They're not. But when you're carrying the weight, they feel impossible. But the elder didn't ask Godric to be better. She just sat beside him and asked him to eat. Just that. Just tomorrow. Just one thing. If you are sitting under your own tree right now, heavy, gray, unsure why, that's still the only ask. Just tomorrow, move out, do one thing, and your world will brighten again.